Josh George, week 2, college football. Prime time once again on the Prime channel of Fox. And it's more than just prime time. Dion Shader Sanders put up 45 points against TCU the other day. And Nebraska, just a little statistics on Matt Rule. 2013, first year head coach at Temple, 2-10. First year head coach in 2017, Baylor, or new to the program anyways, 1-11. Then in 2020, moved to Carolina, was a first year coach there, and guess what? 5-11. Not with where Nebraska is at right now. Matt Rule and this Nebraska team on the road, maybe the more talented team, but something tells me that Colorado and Dion are going to get the win because that crowd is going to be explosive. NC State, a team that only allowed 273 yards last week, but now they get to go up against a team that's third and third down defense, and Sam Hartman, who's number 2 in completion percentage in college football right now. Oh, and Notre Dame's played 2 games, by the way, just FYI. I think the Irish can get it done. Too much offense. They're going to score a bundle. Michigan and UNLV. Watch out game right here. The reason is Jacob DeJesus, a 5'7" receiver that can fly down the field. Michigan is going to have to find a way to cover him. Their Joe Moore line, or potential line, is going to have to play really, really well. But because UNLV's defense has taken some big jumps. They were 100th last year. They jumped to 77th as of now, and they just seem to be taking a leap. So a game that could be closer than the experts think, but of course I think Michigan's going to win. Now, Tulane and Ole Miss. Look, Tulane has the number 1 offensive efficiency among a group of 5 teams. And I think Pete Golding's defense at Ole Miss will be the antidote for that. And of course, Jackson Dart and Spencer Sanders combined for 26 completions, 486 yards. Not to mention, Dart was second in rushing for Ole Miss. And the FPI has Ole Miss gives them a 77% chance to win the game. So I have Ole Miss beating Tulane. To the Iowa game, Iowa and Iowa State. Iowa leads the series 46-23. And don't count out Matt Campbell. And Iowa offensively has a lot of questions. Only scored 24 points against Utah State. Lost last year's game because they couldn't score. It was a 10-7 Iowa State victory. I think Iowa can at least score 10 points this year and probably find a way to get it done. History says that Iowa's probably going to win this game, but it'll be a ruckus environment, I am sure. And in Miami is going to get to run through the smoke. And they are 12th in the 2-4-7 talent composite and 6th in third down defense. Will Bobby Petrino be allowed to call the plays for this A&M offense continually, especially if he starts struggling on third down? Something tells me that if they stick to that, A&M's going to win, and A&M is 4th in the 2-4-7 talent composite, and I think A&M will get the win. OU and Southern Methodists. Southern Methodists, congratulations and good luck in the ACC next year, by the way. OU scored 73 points. Drake Stoops was banged up. I wouldn't say injured. And OU managed to shut out a team that got 14 penalties and had 14 drops. And SMU has a top 25 receiving core, according to Phil Steele. Going to be a closer game. I think OU gets the win. It is at home, and because of that, I think it's good enough, but a closer game. Okay, UCF and Boise State. Look, last time UCF won a 36-31 thriller. Another one where the FBI has UCF 77% chance. And Boise State allowed 568 yards. And Plumlee and Richardson's the running back. Plumlee's the quarterback for Central Florida. Gus Malzahn can use them in very creative ways. They're kind of the perfect people for him. And his offense, they run the ball a lot. So Central Florida wins the game. And he gets a lot of yardage. A game that I missed on last season. Washington State really surprised me. And Wisconsin does not have a top 10 defense as of now, although they did last season. So, and they let in, and of course they let in 17 points against Buffalo. But when these teams met in 2007, it was 42-21. Wisconsin win. It feels more kind of like that, where Wisconsin is kind of overshadowing them. And Tanner Mordecai, who threw 2 interceptions, needs a bounce-back game. And if Tanner Mordecai does not play well, Washington State will pull this upset. But I think Mordecai does have a bounce-back game and winds up winning it for Wisconsin. The Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina take on Jax State. Welcome to D1. They opened up with a win, a thrilling win against UTEP, where Malik Jackson ran for 176 yards, more than any single back had rushed against UTEP all of last season, with the exception of the Oklahoma Sooners. So, great rushing game there at Jax State, ready for D1. Grayson McCall looked decent, and the defense looked decent in a loss, only allowing 27 points to a Chip Kelly UCLA team for the Chanticleers. And Skipke had 139 receiving yards, a superstar receiver. It's going to be a battle, but can Jacksonville State execute in the red zone? I don't know. That's why I've got the Chanticleers winning this football game. The late game, the 9:30 Central Time kickoff. I think that's 10:30 for you on the East Coast in Auburn, Alabama. I think this game is really a simple prediction. Do I like Justin Wilcox or Hugh Freeze more? Because really, there's a lot left to be desired from what I have seen from these two teams. So, I'm going to go with Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers in a game that I think is probably super close. Comes down to a play call by Hugh Freeze. Then our game of the week. The Texas Longhorns go down to T-Town, Alabama in Tuscaloosa. The game where you will see the Bama lights flashing and the most consistent team in college football, as Alabama was able to score 14 points in every quarter of their opener. And, of course, the Texas offensive line has the most NIL of any offensive line. Kevin Banks, Christian Jones, Hayden Connor, and Jake Majors combined for maybe the best and offensive line just because they're making the most money. But this game is going to be decided on the defensive line for Texas. Can they contain Jalen Milroe? And can the crowd of Alabama rattle that offensive line for Texas? Because it's a game that's really decided in the trenches. And I think Milroe earns that starting job and becomes a consistent quarterback and finds a way to get the win for Alabama. I'm Josh George. This was Week 2 college football predictions.